This is a fascinating little device. This whole section of videos in this category are all about the details inside this thing, but let's summarize what a DMX Pix is all about. So it's a dual pixel driver. That means it does two strings of pixels up to 500 pixels long, so a total of 1,000 pixels, the equivalent of 3,000 DMX channels. And for each string, you can do many, many different configurations and settings that are unique to each one. So for instance, you could have a WS2812 pixel string on this side and a 8806 pixel string on this side. Now that brings us to another interesting point, is those two pixel strings may have different color order. So this one might be red, green, blue, but this one might be green, red, blue. And several different combinations and permutations exist in hardware you can buy. So we have a parameter that lets you put that back to where it's supposed to be. It's the color order or color reorder that makes it easy then for you to address any pixel string and have it be red, green, blue, or whichever order you prefer from your console. And then there's color match. And once again, this is for each string individually. So once again, thinking about two different strings. One might, when you go to white, look very blue, sort of a cool white. And a different manufacturer, or even just a string made at a different time, may look more warm. So you put it on white and the colors don't match. And you're going to need to have these things ideally matched and looking the same. So there's a way for you, using RC4 color match, to visually make them look the way you want them to look. And then the offsets that you've created are saved in the device forever. And now, when you control from your console those two different strings, your console doesn't do any correction. The correction happens in the box. So you can go to white and it's the same white. You can go to a shade of amber or in the purples and they will look much more the same because that white balancing is taken care of it. Now finally, this is a wireless device, so it receives one full universe of data at a time. And in red, green, blue pixels, 3 colors per pixel, that's 170 pixels. Each of these drivers, however, can handle 500. So we have introduced our award-winning and patent-pending RC4 custom pixel profile technique. And it involves really two key parameters. One of those is the ability to create what we call a keyframe and then replicate it using methods that we've built into the device. So replication, we're talking about defining how patterns are repeated, how we can take a pattern and morph it, translate it into mappings down longer lengths than 170 pixels. So keep in mind the keyframe is created by you, and the methods and morphings that are selected those are up to you also. You choose them from a selection that will be ever growing as we produce new things. And then finally there's grouping. This is a method of kind of expanding or spreading a look. So you could, for instance, in its simplest form, do 2 pixels for 1 pixel in your data. So now all of a sudden a pattern that you've created will appear twice as wide. And you could go all the way up to 10 or 20. There's actually no limit. You could widen it till the entire string reacts like 1 pixel and behaves like regular pixel tape. So with all this flexibility, I can't give you all the details in one little summary like this. So now the rest of the videos in the category are going to dive into the details of each sort of little individual area you should know more about.